Hey y'all, out in the garage. Hopefully this is the last video with the old beat up GoPro. Long story short, I ordered another one from a completely different seller. This time this guy's in Chicago instead of California. And I've tracked it. It's actually supposed to show up today. So instead of getting two real cheap ones, older ones, I got one a little bit newer that was a little bit more expensive, but still under $100. So that's it. We working on some things, packing up some stuff here, getting things together to go over to the trailer. Played around with charging up the transponders. This one's mine. This one's Richard's. His is blinking twice. Mine's blinking once. Mine has brand new batteries in it. I just rebuilt this thing and had the guy at the battery place match the three little batteries that go inside and soldered them all in and everything. And even though it's been sitting for a year without being charged, which is I guess bad. They tell you to charge it once a month or once every 3 months or something. Usually these batteries, the modern day batteries, don't go to poop on you. So the way you can test these to make sure it's giving off a signal, switch your radio to AM.
Their deadly force training. But pulling the trigger
You can see you put it up by the receiver.
high stress and adrenaline can also kick in. Andrea Coleman.
That one's giving off a good signal.
The District of Columbia has put out a list of buildings
So,
and monuments that are
just a little tip for you. If you want to make sure your transponder that's only got one blink to it, or even these other ones. If they have a signal, you just say even a little boom box or whatever, jam box, whatever you call it, anything set to AM, and you can put the thing right up by the receiver, and it'll hiss and make noise to at you. But sit you down. It's just a way to make sure it's gonna record your lap times or whatever you do your scoring for you at the racetrack. Now, whether vibrating, shaking down the racetrack voltage of your cart, whether it's going to operate the same or not, we don't know. We'll find out. But we're not worried about timing and scoring and points and trophies and all that. Just we really don't care. That's not why we're going. But we are bringing the kids, right? The little ones are coming. So if we do get some type of award or trophy, I'm going to give it to the kids, and they're going to. They think Uncle Bub, every time he goes to the racetrack, he wins, so they expect big trophies every time I come home. So the last probably 2 years or so, when I do come home, we've been, the Michigan Car Club would give us beer mugs and says, I give them to the kids, man. And they put them in their room, and they put crayons in them or whatever, I don't know, but they dig it. So it's just one less thing I got to find a place for, right? That's it. Just packaging up some stuff, getting things in order, cleaned up a little bit more. Still a bit of a mess on the back bench back there. I don't want to get into any of too much of that right now, but the toolbox all straightened out and just biding our time. Nice day. It was pretty breezy though earlier, so I didn't get over there and do any painting. I got to dig up a few milk crates that I can put on top, we zip tie together on top of one another, and then put the big fat zip ties that we have around a big plank. We got some 2x12, I think, that are probably 15 foot long, 12, 15 foot long over in Rich's garage as a kind of a scaffolding, basically, for me to walk end to end, because when I'm going to paint the sides and the front of that trailer. And that's really what's holding me up, is the fact that I don't want to have to move a ladder and then spray and then get down, move a ladder and spray, because you'll get dry edges, you'll get, especially with a metallic type paint, you'll get dark and light spots. So you're literally going to have to go all the way back and forth, up and down. And so I need that scaffolding, so to speak, up 2 feet off the ground or whatever, so I can go. So what I'll do is I'll do one side, and after the paint's done, break it down, move it around to the other side, have everything taped up, and do the other side and get that done. And then the next day, probably go over tape and mask off with cardboard just that front top piece with the marker lights on it, and hit that, and then at least that all that's done before we go to Gingerman. When we get back, it's back over to Rich's. We'll get that access door off, get it in the garage. We'll let Rich tear it apart. I'll start working on prepping and taking off and painting that door jamb that's right now is black, and everything that was black is going to be that gunmetal gray. Then it's take the fenders off and get things cleaned up and scuffed up, wheels covered up, tires covered up, and we can go ahead and prep for paint and base coat and clear coat on the body of the trailer. Want to have all that done, you know, as soon as we can. The big stuff out of the way, so then it's just, you know, putting things back together, fixing up the fenders, painting them, putting them back on. The trim on the bottom, the aluminum on the bottom, we'll take all that off, and we'll probably paint that to gunmetal gray as well. And so that stuff goes back on when we get the door back, the side door back on, and all that stuff. So, not in a big rush to get over there and do it today. If it gets done, ideally you want it done. I'd like to have it done before Gingerman, so I know we have a month between Gingerman and Grattan, but I've got, you know, Rich Sheedlack's body work to do. What's up, Rich? Was hoping I could at least get his side panels worked up, done, you know, and leave them in the molds, and then hit his nose cone up, because we'd like to be able to deliver that stuff, see if we can get him to come over to Grattan and pick it up. We initially intended to go to Chicago and do the dyno test into the Repsol, bring the cart, try some bigger, you know, 38, 39, 40 millimeter carbs that Johnny has over there, in a kind of a test or an information data collection for making some power to run at Daytona. We know a big carburetor, obviously, on the oval is probably going to yield more mile per hour, more top speed. And we know that you don't, even if you're giving up some time through the infield, it's really not the main factor down there. As we sit here right now today, I'm not completely convinced I want to go to Daytona now. The more I think about it, I hated that drive, and I drive every mile pulling the trailer. Sherry doesn't drive. Richard never did much driving, if any. So I just not, you know, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to end up going or not. If I had the new car tuned in and the new fancy body work that we got planned, you know, it'd be a different story. But, you know, to go down there and run this thing here, especially with this motor, it'd be pointless to go down there with the old motor. We know it probably won't do, you know, what we're going to need it to do, you know. And if you're not going to go down there with the intention of competing, then it's pointless to go. So that's it for today. A little transponder test with the AM radio update and hanging around. Nice breeze, beautiful day, nice mild weather. Things are settling down, no more 90-degree weather, so that's cool. Yeah, just getting prepped up, making sure we got everything, you know, ready to go back in the trailer and stuff, and we'll start taking stuff over there a little bit at a time. We use the old starter wagon. We'll load her up and we'll run her over there, start loading stuff in. So that's it for now. One more look at my beautiful girlfriend. She is gorgeous, and I'm not really looking forward to having to get up early in the morning to go play with it at the racetrack. That's the one thing I hate about the racetrack, is you got to get up early. And I'm an afternoon shift person, man. I just don't get motivated to do anything until noon, you know, sometimes. So that's it. I am looking forward to driving it, so and seeing what the data does, the water temp data, and find out what's going on with that headrest should be interesting too. So that's it. From RPM, we're staying away from the car washes in Roseville because we don't want to get shot. We don't want to get kites. We don't want anyone trying to steal our car or take our wallet. So hang in there, Bob. We'll talk to y'all. We're praying for you. Godspeed.